Hey everybody, it's Strangers103 here today with yet another replay cast. We are looking at the your_GRE score, and just a quote Conway about the clan.
ZR actually stands for, and I'm going to completely butcher this, anyone who speaks Japanese, please close ears, Zetai Ryoki, which is apparently the technical term for the little bit of exposed skin between stockings and a skirt on your thigh. So there we go. Yeah, it's just throwing that out there.
And you do with that whatever you want.
Yes.
Fucking Conway weeb. God damn it. They probably had that on the cheat sheets, because I don't think either of these two guys really are weebs, you know? Regardless, moving on with life, we're playing in Des Moines, and it's Sea of Des Moines, the map. Fortune even. I butchered that on purpose. Regardless, looking at matchmaking, one Yamato Montana, so one tier 10 team. Lion versus Iowa, so that could be spamming HE. NC Alabama can actually be dangerous to us because 27mm of armor. Bismarck really can't do jack to our bow. Double Minotaur can be annoying, but we can kind of counter them with our superior America piercing ammunition. In the lulls, I mean, if at range they can be a problem. Ottagos can also be quite a bit of a nuisance at long range as well, because they do have a section of 51mm of deck armor that we can't actually pen. So yeah, Gearing Shimmy, Tashkent, not the world's best, but then again we have two destroyers, so hey, at least we get a Trapaev on top of that. So of our radar, let's see, I think the Trapaev spawned, yeah, 37,000 HP, so the guy at least has access to radar. Who knows what these guys are up to, who knows what these guys are up to, but at least we have two guaranteed radars at this point, because we have one ourselves. Trash can get spotted first, kind of nice, heading towards A. This being NA server, you don't really want to head in any direction early until you actually find out where the enemy team's battleships are, simply due to the fact that, well, it's an NA server, retard blobs happen on a very reliable basis, and usually teams will just blob into one side of the map because, hey, we have 48 by 48 kilometers of map, let's only use 4 by 4 of it, because this is NA server. So, I'm sure you can already tell I have a bit of a hate of the NA server gameplay over all of the... I mean, granted, I haven't really played too much on any other server, but from what I hear, NA is definitely the worst when it comes to death blobbing. I mean, it's human nature in a way to have this feeling of safety in numbers, but unfortunately in World of Warship, safety in numbers just means torpedo me please with a shimmy. Regardless, heading towards Alpha, our surface detection range isn't actually inside of the cap yet, but we're going to insert radar. We have the radar upgrade, so this thing lasts 56 seconds. But soon it's going to cover the entirety of the cap. The guy's still inside of it. I would personally be aiming not there. I'd be aiming at the cap right now, and also be very, very wary of incoming torpedoes. Shimmy gets spotted. Unless we hit the first salvo, and he's not that fast, mate. This is why... But unless we hit the first salvo, we're definitely not getting reset. One salvo of torpedoes coming in, but I mean, we have Hydro in this sense, but we need to be careful because there's going to be more salvos of torpedoes coming in. They're probably going to get spotted in a couple of seconds. He's probably was waiting to see if we're committing or not, with the first salvo being just a preliminary, and there you go. They're coming in with broadside. That's probably not going to be good for us. The problem with the Des Moines is it's a 7% torpedo bulge. So you take one torpedo, it hurts a lot. So we pretty much need to ensure we take one on the bow, or push ahead and take, you know, only one central. But unfortunately, we actually take two. So 12k, so that's 6k regen from the bow hit, and about 3k regen, 3.5k regen from the second hit. So we don't have much we can actually regenerate from this. So that's basically half of our health permanently lost at this point. And we're spotted by a plane. I guess we can press D for stats to defensive AA. We actually get the kill on that, so that's a bit of a spot of luck. But it seems like we're not really happy about these two guys. And welcome to NA server. This is what happens. I mean, granted, you do play for Zetar, so I'd expect you to know this. I mean, it's NA server. People are retarded like this. They want to blob, and they see people like, oh my god, there's only one ship, but we do not have 12 to kill this one ship, so we don't want to go there. No, please, you go poke yourself. Regardless, we're spotted again. We're reversing just to make sure we don't get shot by the stuff in B. Shimmy's probably spotting us again, so I bet in another 30-40 seconds I'm going to see more torpedoes heading our way if he has them ready. Actually, no, it's more like a minute, but... regardless, and we could potentially have shot that, I'm not sure, but taking AP damage here would be really horrible, and another 5.5k, which is basically 2.7k that we cannot regenerate, and that's kind of bad, because, you know, not being able to regenerate health is not so good. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Regardless, another plane spotting us, and this one's farther than 8 kilometers away, so we can't actually see it. And because we shot, we probably have like 11. Let me see if we can actually get it up. No? I don't remember the number. I don't think it wants to work right now. Nah, it doesn't want to cooperate, but sod it. Probably upwards like 11 kilometer air spotting range, so, you know. But hey, we at least get another smoke screen, and there you go. Torpedoes inbound, looks like 2 salvos, so the guy actually has waited the reload to stagger them again, because otherwise they wouldn't be launched like that. And with the smoke screen, we can blink on the stock North Carolina, in fact. Yeah, the damage we can deal to that is always nice. He's starting to de-reverse, so the second salvo probably isn't going to achieve too much, not like the first one did much either. Shimmy gets temporarily rendered him. Yeah, he actually got spotted, So theoretically we could radar. Shooting at this Hindenburg, yeah, we definitely swapped the AP there. Good, I'd say that's a good choice overall. Although that dispersion, wow, 7.9k, I mean he's full HP, so, you know, not yet sectioned, and it's 30 millimeters of armor everywhere, so, now I'll be swapping back to HE again. You know, that salvo was still going to be reasonable, but this one probably isn't going to do much. There you go, 1.6, nothing at all. This one probably won't do too much as well. It's also a little bit underlead, but he's broadsiding us as well. Ooh. The thing about Hindenburgs is broadside away turning only works against battleships. Broadside away turning against a cruiser, especially one such as a Des Moines, is usually going to result in you getting blattered. Using another hydro, don't think it's that worthwhile. I mean, the Chapayev would likely be the one taking it. Lion gets spotted. Shooting AP at that isn't too bad for, again, pressuring him into the late game with his heals. Although 32 millimeters of armor everywhere does leave an argument for shooting HE at that, although probably not a lol, well, it's the cow actually, but 52 millimeters of armor, 51 millimeters of deck armor means that shooting AP at it, you know, from long range, unless we hit the belt, might not yield too many results. Shooting AP at an angle is going to yield a grand total of jack shit. And shooting HE at the central area isn't going to yield much either, so... There you go, we have to pick up a single citadel, 2 citadels plus 2 overpens on top of that, so that's not bad at all. And we're not actually spotting penalty. If we shoot right now, we're definitely getting spotted. Yeah, I wouldn't have shot that. I would have waited a couple of seconds to see if, you know, he's going to go behind the island, but seems like we might actually have a shimmy. Oh no, it was just Lion spotting us, so... Thankfully, he didn't actually get a snapshot back in return on us. Poorly angled there, and if he had shot AP, could easily have done quite a bit of damage. Now there you go. Looks like our shimmy is, I don't know what doing. The Chapayev is actually kind of trying to get around. If he gets IFHE, he can deal some serious damage to the line, and just the combined firepower, us and the Chapayev can kill the line in a reasonably short amount of time. Anyways, Yamato looks like he's pushing into B, so at this, Minotaur's up as well. I probably would have used radar earlier. So, yeah, and it looks like the Shimmy is a typical NA Shima player, so useless, as you'd expect. And das ist nicht so good. So, engines ahead flank, I'd say. And we're actually surface spotted by something right now, but I would definitely consider, you know, engines ahead, I don't want to be here anymore mode. And there you go. We actually get ourselves behind the island, but the Yamato gets the snapshot off, so I think we reacted too late to that. But thankfully, he didn't actually get to punish us. And with him being broadside, shooting into his superstructure is quite nice. There we go. Plane. Not the Yamatos, but let me just wait for the next zoom in, and I would have... That's again a spot of luck that this Yamato really doesn't know how to shoot. We're underleading a little bit over there, but just seriously, just get moving, punch it. And let me just pause it here. When a Yamato's like this, you actually want to shoot him into this area, because 32mm lower plate armor, you won't citadel him in this range. 7.7 is too far. However, you can still damage his barbets and actually crit his turrets. Otherwise, it's 32mm of upper armor on this belt here, but you land on the 41cm of lower belt armor that you're going to do jack shit. So, it really is a matter of figuring out where you actually want to shoot. And there you go, Lion gets a shot on us as well. Thankfully, his dispersion was absolutely jack shit. And it looks like the Minotaur gets a reasonably good salvo against the Yamato with his torpedoes, so we don't actually end up getting killed there, which is kind of nice. But we need angle against this Lion. The Minotaur's not there yet, but we're capping right now. So a consideration would actually be to radar down the Minotaur. Incoming from the Lion, AP, I mean, that's pretty good dispersion, but actually no, it was pretty bad dispersion. They look reasonably tight. But regardless, trying to get the cap, at this point I probably would radar just to get the Minotaur to F off out of there and not think about contesting us, or at least if he wants to think about contesting us, at least make sure he does it in a reasonably risky and panicked fashion. Opening fire now would generally be a bad idea. We don't know if there's any planes around. The Bama could have a plane up, and he's close enough. But at least we're making some progress on the map right now. And as you can see on the points, a lot of the people have died, but nobody's actually gotten a big points lead. I mean, check out us. We're still on 300. The enemy's on 400, so caps aren't really a big consideration right now. In general, however, getting the cap could apply bleed, but I mean, NA server being NA server, just having these retard blobs means that it's usually down to whoever can kill stuff better. And our Chopper's gone on a... I don't even know. We never had it, that Chapai, it didn't exist. Regardless, it's safe to open fire now again, just because the line, well, first of all, the line just shot, but it was afterwards, but the cap was going to be ours already, and there you go, there was a plane up in the air, in fact. Watch the island, don't overturn, otherwise we're going to get stuck, and if the plane circles around at a bad, misopportune omen, we could get shot at a little bit. Shooting AP generally isn't too bad of an idea against things like the British battleships, simply due to the keel. And there you go, stuck on the island. I would hold fire at this point until we free ourselves. There we go, simply because of the plane. But we don't even know where it is. But now we pretty much know he's close enough. But thankfully the North Carolina wasn't too interested in us, otherwise he could have wiped us. And now we're making a really risky move. But thankfully the plane seems to have effed off at the right moment. So that's a bit of a spot of luck. Underleading our AP salvos there in general. I mean, AP is a really, really good choice of ammunition, but only when you hit it on the right areas of the ship, just do a pressure. And there you go. That was much, much better salvos there. Stopping the HE, good choice there. When he's angled like this, AP is not going to do too much damage overall. And setting fires like this is kind of nice, especially considering the Chapayev is also in let's spam HE mode. Regardless, with the island, we're no longer able to target an area of his ship not on fire, but he's damage control partied, but it doesn't matter because we have so little time left on his health that we can just kill him off before his damage control party comes back online again. I wouldn't bother shooting AP at this point, but, you know, there you go. HE actually picks up the kill. I would have just stayed on HE there, but the kill goes in, so it's not a problem. And there you go, the rest of the enemy team is on the Charlie side of the map, so now it's just time to go push ahead and get rid of them. We played reasonably aggressive in the beginning, knowing that the enemy team wasn't really there, but in typical NA fashion, we now have Battleship going absolutely nowhere on full HP. At least it probably doesn't have the captain points to get the survivability expert. Probably running a 5-point captain, needs one more to get the survivability expert. Amazing Chapayev. Who are you? Good game, team, says the useless Battleship. I mean, useless and useless. I mean, what are you doing over here, mate? There's nothing here. Regardless, this game is pretty much secured. We just need to push ahead. They could... Actually, the enemies... Let me see. Let me just check the camera. Kind of need to scroll to get it in because replays are a bit dodgy. We could actually have raid on them now, but... oops. Looks like the Minotaur actually kills our Armagi, so that's kind of alright. But he's now being Iowa spotted, so... Iowa, don't charge that smoke. Because, well, the reason you don't want it to charge the smoke is because then there's more damage for us, right? Anyways, the Minotaur's being pushed ahead, so time to open fire, and this should be a very easy kill for us. Oop, our kill. And we even get the high caliber out of that, so definitely not too bad. Shooting AP at Tashkent isn't a bad thing either, to be honest, but, you know, we'll be aiming a lot more ahead than this, because I don't think any of this is going to hit them. Yeah, Tashkents are fast. You kind of want to, you know, lead. And nice torpedoes, Shimmy. I mean... You're really amazing, mate. Regardless, the gearing's actually still inside of the smoke screen, so I would right now, there you go, double consumable use, radar up as well. I would not have radar, I would just have hydroed until we get ourselves around the island, because, you know, we can't shoot that right now. And why are you shooting AP, Shima? Why is the IRA shooting HE? I mean, you shoot AP at destroyers. I know it makes a lot of sense. Not, but you shoot AP at destroyers. There's a reason for it, because you can pen them for full damage. Can you get Kraken? Well, you need to get in there and start killing shit. Gearings actually are potential, you know, if they're broadside, you can actually shoot, you know, make a consideration to shoot AP at them. But regardless, he's not going to be showing broadside because there are torpedoes incoming. That's going to be a bit of an underled salvo on his turn, so there you go, it doesn't really achieve anything. Confident in our ability to not get torpedoed here, we can just pretty much push right through, take advantage of a high rate of fire, we jam his engine, and we actually take a torpedo there because we weren't paying attention. I guess we're going for the adrenaline rush reload bonus, but then again, if that was the case, I wouldn't have healed. Iowa looks like he's about to go down, or not, gets away with it. But Tashkent, there you go, a little bit better lead, but still going to fall short of the enemy target. by a little bit, so, you know, remember these things are pretty fast, but it looks like he's off his engine boost right now, actually. Wouldn't really want to be completely broadside to him overall, because he can actually do a lot of damage to us, but looks like that's going to be the kill, and there you go. Kill goes in, finishing this game. And, of course, Warships decides it wants to crash. Let me just get rid of this. F off Warships. 190k damage, 1 float plane kill that we kind of need to get rid of. 6 kills to 6 citadels. Granted, 2 of them were on the Hindenburg, and I think 2 or 3 of them were on the Takao. I'm not even sure, but let's have a look at the scoreboards. Reasonable amount of XP, Dreadnought, because we survived quite a bit. Although, granted, we could have avoided a bit of the shimmy damage, perhaps, if we had intern earlier, but then again, we'd risk being broadside to the enemy fleet in the distance, and that's the thing, if you want to push into A, you make the move at the beginning. Delaying the move is just going to get you caught by battleships who can then shoot you, whereas they're going to have a harder time doing that if they are, if you do the move early. And of course, if you do the move earlier, destroyers also have less time to set up a standard capping position. And for those that don't know the correct standard capping procedure, it is basically simply put ass on, or making sure your ship is in a position to be able to evade torpedoes by accelerating forwards with engine boost up, and also get yourself behind the nearest piece of cover, not concealment, but cover, actual hard cover. I mean, it's not water tanks, I guess, with bushes and all, but get yourself behind cover as fast as possible, or get yourself angled and in a best position to evade cruiser fire, while also having the space to turn broadside into battleship fire. That's basically a standard capping position. Regardless, 3 fires, we didn't spam too much HE overall. Generally, a lot of people gave us some reasonably good AP possibilities to deal damage, and we definitely did pick up some decent damage over there, especially on a map like this, with teams like this, on a server like this. And you'll hear this from me a lot when it comes to NA content, because simply put, NA server has a really bad blob meta gameplay. Anyways, let's see, oops, that's credits. What the team scores? There we go. 3k XP because we are in a Des Moines. 6 kills plus a good chunk of damage, and a bit of it on destroyers as well. Means that we're definitely going to get pushed very hard with scoreboard, simply due to the Des Moines XP modifiers. Don't really know why Wargaming has done this overall. It's not really. I mean, it makes grinding these things a lot easier, and it's really there really is no grind. Once you get out of the Pensacola, the New Orleans isn't bad. The Baltimore is overpowered. The Des Moines is kind of overpowered, and I mean. OP. They're very good guns, but I don't think the ships are overpowered in that sense. They're just difficult to use, but very rewarding when you get to use them right. They do have their downsides, such as the while the Baltimore doesn't have as many downsides. The 27mm of armor resists 15-inch, 38cm, 381mm caliber guns. Basically tier 7 and 8 battleships, with some exceptions, such as the Big 7 and the North Carolinas and Alagis. So, you know, in the end, there's a lot of stuff that the Baltimore has that the Des Moines actually doesn't get, despite having the better reload, because the Des Moines gets worse armor layout, because it has the same Citadel armor, but the engineering is, well, the engineering is the waterline area on both the ships. However, the magazine and the Baltimore are submerged, whereas the Des Moines are actually slightly above the water, so the Des Moines gets a worse Citadel, and because it faces higher tier ships, it faces fewer 38cm, 15-inch, 381mm equipped ships. Which, again, means that you take more bleed damage over the course of the game through AP, because people lull pen you. Regardless, the rest of the team, the Montana actually somehow gets himself reasonably high up. I mean, it should be impossible to not get high up with a tier 10 ship in this tier 10 battleship in this kind of matchmaking, especially in a Montana. Enemy team gearing Minotaur high up. The Yamato really didn't seem to achieve much, otherwise this guy probably would have lost a lot more health overall. And yeah, it doesn't seem too bad overall. Oops. Wait. Okay, now I'm confused. There you go, detail report screen. We can see mostly shot AP there, 181 AP, 58 HE, 3 fires for 58 HE shells, not really that great of a result, but I guess people might be running fire prevention or some stuff there. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter too much, even though we shot a lot more HE than AP, and a lot of our HE shot was against destroyers, so missing more of these is to be expected in the end. As for ammo choices, which was realistically the only thing that Halcyon actually asked me about in the email, ammo choice was solid overall, although maybe being one salvo delayed on AP-HE swaps and shooting a little bit too much AP perhaps at the destroyers in the end, although quickly realizing that AT against the gearing when he's going to angle, and because he's taking torpedoes, he's going to stay angled, is definitely the better choice. But do remember that if you have destroyers that are angled at 45 degrees to you and they're like 5 kilometers, shooting AP at them can easily result in 10k plus salvos against them, simply because US lolpen and lolpen, the US reduced auto deflect angle, and on top of that having the just being an 8-inch cruiser means that you don't tend to overpen them too much if they are angled, which is really good for you because you can delete stuff, especially Kaba's broadside like that or a semi broadside like that. You can actually get devastating strikes against them. You can take more than half their health in a single salvo. So that's something to keep in mind. But the situation where you get that happening is pretty rare. Regardless, our early play was very risky, and we kind of would have. I mean, the question is, do you want to take a risk with the battleships or take a guaranteed 40k damage from torpedoes, basically? Well, I mean, we took one on the bow at least, but the question in that situation is, what would you rather take? Knowing that you're going to take one torpedo on the bow, one torpedo on the stern, which is basically going to result, a shimmer torpedo does 20k damage each. The bow is going to do a little bit short of like 40% of the damage, and the bell tip is going to do 90% of the damage, basically, and because the Moines does not have a torpedo bulge. And the bell tip we took is also going to be less regeneratable, so we do need to be aware of that. In the Des Moines, it's better to take torpedoes on the bow, much better to take torpedoes on the bow than it is to take them on the belt. Whereas in something like a Senjo or Zhao, taking them on the belt isn't that much worse than taking them on the bow, granted you heal more back from the bow. And of course in the Yamato, you'd much rather belt tank than to bow tank, so there are considerations like this you take in mind. Because in some of the IGN ships with actually good torpedo bulgers, taking it on the belt means you can actually regen more than what you take on a bow hit. But not in the Moines, so I probably would have tried to take one on the bow and then risk the battleship salvos. At the end of the day, if we're going to die there, we're going to die there. Nothing you can do about it because we approached that area way too late. But then and again, if we approach that too early and the entire enemy team goes there, we're just going to die and have a crap game. So, NA. Granted, the same can happen to you on EU, but at least in EU, it seems a lot less likely you're going to face a death blob, and even if you do face a death blob, it's going to be even less likely they're going to go to the west, to the A side of the map, so at least I simply like it that way. But then again, understanding meta is really the true thing about being a great player. It isn't so much about knowing how to shoot, knowing how to aim, angles, penetration values, and being able to hot calculate this in the middle of a battle. Truly what defines a good player is a player that can react and determine both strategic and tactical level decisions and make them fast. Understand this, and on a strategic level, understanding meta, while it is above strategic in this sense, understanding that really is something that should influence your choices. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. If you'd like me to go over replays that you guys would like to send them into replays.strangers123@gmail.com. There is a address in the description below. Find that, send it to me. Give me a description, ask me questions about your gameplay. If there's anything specific you would like me to review, such as ammo choice, aim, positioning, all things like this, give me a nod. And if you want to talk about strategy, do make sure you tell me which server you're on, because it really does matter for the way the servers play, and it really does matter for the analysis overall, because like I said earlier, analyzing strategic moves and the meta is really what determines an incredibly good player from just the good. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this, take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.